Right, we're going to give a video of basically going through the mock assessment for those who need a review, recover, go over notes, clarify, what have you, the case may be. So this is the information, the instructions, and we'll go through them quickly. So basically we're setting up a profit sheet. The scenario is that we're going to make money with selling stuff through online. And basically what I was trying to allude to is this formula section is saying for every time you increase by the price by 10% above cost, there'll be a 1% decrease in max sales. Basically saying with these figures you've got, this is how much it costs the company to get the products, which we will turn into monetary figures, which is a requirement of the standards, the notes further down. You would effectively sell that many units. Now, those figures look different to what I remember from the assessment. 25 to 135. Yeah, that looks the same, but these ones are not. Right, those are updated. I'll just change. Borders, none. Okay, alrighty. So these now are the same numbers. No decimals. Okay, cool. So they're the same as this, and this is for April, the first month. Basically saying, if you're going to sell, as a company, if you're going to sell each, if you're going to sell 180 for $2 each, sure, you would have money go through the store, but you wouldn't make any profit because it cost the company $2 to get each basic tea in. So we need to sell them above that price to make money. And this formula says that you need to mark up in lots of 10. And for every time you mark up in 10, these unit sales, or should I say max unit sales, which in the assessment, in the sheet, it does actually say maximum unit sales, means that they'll decrease by 1%. So if I was going to sell you a t-shirt for $2, most of you'd be like, yeah, I'll buy that, that's cheap. But as soon as it becomes like $10, there's people saying, no, I don't want that t-shirt, I'd rather buy something else for $10. Right. So working off that, we need to have sales price, so what we would sell it and store for. And then we'd have actual sales. These titles, they're just common sense titles, like I haven't specified what you have to title them as. Then further down in the assessment, when we're thinking about these formulas, we would work out gross profit. Gross profit is your profit without any deduction of costs, so we need to note that in. So gross profit. And we need net profit, which is profit with deduction of cost. Net profit. Right, total operating expenses. This is the added up cost of running a company. Factor. Okay, that's something different. Operating profit. This is the result of all money made and deductions of all expenses. Okay, that's something. Financial quarter. This is. Okay, this is explaining what the term financial quarter means. Okay, so you got these in. So in terms of trying to get through this, we'll have a mark up amount, and we'll have a sales loss. So from there is no right percentage in this scenario. So let's just start with something. So I say I'd mark up by 50%. Now I should probably format this to a percentage. Yep. So I'll rename that as 50%. And sales loss was, it's basically this number for every 10%. So I've marked up 50%, so that's 10% 5 times. So if I divide by 10, it's going to tell me that the amount of loss I should have as a percentage equals, hold on, let's just retype that in because it's going to throw a bit of a mare, equals that divided by 10. Yes, I didn't mean to have the, yeah, okay, there we go. Sorry, there's an extra equals on the end. So it's a 5% sales loss. That makes sense. So if I marked up by 60%, 6% loss. If I marked up by 10%, 1% loss, like it says in the formula. So I'll leave it at 50. What you guys need to have drummed into you like crazy is that there is a now, oh geez, I'm not having a good day. There is a decimal equivalent of 50%. 50% of the decimal is 0.5, and a sales loss is 0.05. Okay, and actually when I click on this, in the background, these numbers are sitting there. So, what we want to do is we want to say, I want to increase this number by 50%. So if I say equals this number, now how do I get this as an increase? What do I do to it? Do I add it? No, because that won't add 50%. Yeah, kind of, but it doesn't really work directly like if I say plus this, because realistically all I'm saying is plus 0.5, so I'd get $2.50, and that's not a 50% increase. It should be $3. So in terms of that doesn't work. So what we need to do is we need to times it by a percentage. So if I times something by 1, it equals itself. If I times it by 0.5, it's going to give me 50%. So if I times something by 1.5, it says keep it itself and add 50%. So that is effectively correct, which reflects that. Now, I've gone to the effort of writing that over there to just hold information. Why not use the linking cells for calculations? So if I say brackets, because I want to work this thing out first, 1 plus whatever's here, and if I press F4, it makes it an absolute reference, which basically means when I drag the formula down, it'll keep referring to this box, but as I drag the formula down, I refer to this number, that number, all the way down, but constantly only refer to that box rather than going down with it with these rows. So as I hit there, the answer is all still the same, which means obviously the calculation works. Then the actual sales, they're going to basically equal this minus the 5%, or saying I want the other 95%. So it's going to be a similar process. It's basically saying 1 minus what's in here, because realistically 1 minus your 5%, or 1 minus 0.05, is going to give you 0.95, which is 95% if we understand decimals. Right, and then we drag the formula down, done. Right, and I've got these little, I'm going to sell like a quarter of a pair of jeans, which, some very short shorts, but we're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to formulate the number to go down to no decimal places like that. Right, okay, gross profit equals this number, the price we're going to sell it for, times by how many we actually sold. Simple as that, because it's just the raw money that would go through like the shop and the tills. Says that. Right, so the net profit is trying to say, yes, that's how much money that went through the tills, but for these 171 things we sold, we had to spend $2 per thing. And we're doing online sales, and we're basically ordering by demand, which it says there in the assessment, which is saying that we're not factoring the loss here as part of our cost at all. Okay, so I'm saying it equals, there's a few ways to do this, but let's just do it in a kind of real simplistic way. $3 minus that, okay? That gives us the $1. That's how much you're making per t-shirt we sold, right? We made $1 per t-shirt. Lots of profit, eh? So we want to work that out first. So I'll bracket that, okay, bed mass, bracket that. And then we basically say, okay, from that $1, I want to times it by how many sales we actually did. And with that formula, and I drag it down, there we go, we've worked everything out. So that is the tricky part. I'm just going to bold that because I'm asked to in the assessment. And I want to run some totals, so I'll just put a total down here with a capital. And I want to work out the total of my net profit, gross, how much stuff I sold, and max units, because I don't want a total of the sales prices, because that doesn't really make sense, and same with the cost. So equals sum, we want to sum it up, bracket, we want to between that number and that number, close bracket, enter. Or I can just say enter, it'll auto do that. I can then drag the formula across, and I didn't want that one, and that one's not, and that one is not currency. So I'll form them down to numbers with no decimal places because we don't want to sell point something. So there you go. And then these need to be bolded So if I mean bordered, sorry. So if I get a border, single top, double bottom, in accounting type practices, that basically means it's a total. Righto. So I mean, this is kind of like 80% of the assessment is getting this worked out. If I'm going to go back through and read through the assessment, blah 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 blah, blah aiming for excellence in student description. Okay, task sheet. Right. So you'll get a planning sheet in the actual assessment. Okay, font Century Gothic size 10. And it doesn't say what, so I'm assuming everything then. Century Gothic size 10. Okay. Titles are to be bolded, which I have done. The title of April quarter June, just above product costing. Okay, so I'll take that. That's what we want. Can't get it wrong if I copy paste, you see. Then I'll insert, and it wants that title there, just above that. Okay, that's done. It will not be bolded, but will have the cells merged across the width of the document with a light grey backfill. Okay, so this, drag select, merge and center, backfill. That looks like a light grey, and not bolded. The title of profit loss will be the first line, and your company styling to be on a separate line, which merge cells. Okay, so I always want to say this bit here. It's going to go insert, and I need to insert another one because that was going on the first line and then the other one was on a separate line. So profit loss, merge center, that was bolded because everything else is titles bolded, styling. Alright, bolded. Okay, this product cost I could leave there as per the assessment. I'm just going to merge it because everything out there is merged, so it looks prettier, to be fair. Right. Text will be formatted, will be wrapped for longer titles of categories. So it's titles of categories. Okay. E.g. advertising sales increase. So like I've got some of these, they don't really look that long, to be fair. So I'm just going to highlight this whole row. And this is called wrap text there. Or I can right mouse click. Oh, yeah. I'll highlight that way because it'll let me do it. Right mouse click, format cells, alignment, wrap text. There's the other way to get it. Right, it does that. Now it's all up, down, just annoying. So I want it to all sit centered. Just nicer. It's not asked as part of the standard. I'm just like it that way, so I'm doing that myself way personally. If students hand it in the other way, that's fine. Just cringe while I mark it. All monetary figures to be formatted with two decimal places, plus obviously represent currency. That is not Century Gothic, or is it? It is. Those are, okay, different size. So that should be Century Gothic size 10. Pretty sure. Yeah, size 10, there you go. Total such a... Okay, so the totals, this is where this border thing comes in. Of growth, such as gross profit, operating expenses, top single bottom, so there it is down there. I've totaled a few more things, but it's fine. All tabs be named appropriately, so this is for the month of April, so I'm just going to call this April. Makes sense, eh? Right, all exercises, clean month, be separated. Okay, so we want it set up for printing, but I might be adding some new things. Right, a quarter implies that there is a year cut into 4 bits, so that's, 12 to whatever, it's 4 equals 3. Monthly sales figures will become the following month's sales. So I'm basically saying these sales figures will become next month's max sales. And this is graphing now. And I haven't really finished with whether I've made maximum profit yet. And there's this thing about advertising here. There's a sweet email. Right, so in terms of that, if I go to sheet 2, which has my operating stuff, expenses, that needs to be Century Gothic 2. Really? Okay, whatever, don't do it then. Century, there we go, thank you. There you go, there's those titles, they're in there. I've got this advertising in here. Now the actual sheet on the assessment, I'm pretty sure is not 33,000 already. It's 15, so I'll adjust that to 15, negative 15. And why negative? Because it's a cost. that one, negative 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some additional insert. Right. Additional advertising. And basically, it says in here, for every time you add $1,000, you'll receive an increase to your maximum sales per month. So it doesn't mean $1,000 does all 3 months, it does 1 month at a time. 5%, then 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 6 times, moving a maximum of 15.5. And so I want to do those 6 markups 3 times, 3 sixes, 18. So that should be negative 18,000. And that way for all 3 months, I'll get that. And it says it affects your maximum sales per month. So if I go here, and I go something that makes sense, like advertising sales increase. That is not on wrap text, so I'll wrap text that. There you go. And I know that's 15.5%, which is not formatted as a percentage, so I'm just going to say 15.5 again. Right, okay. So it was going to increase this, so I might as well just insert a new row and then go new max sales advert. I just put ads. Right, basically equals this number times by 1 plus this number, F4. It's the same process we've done before. Equals that. There we go. And so our actual sales is not going to refer to that, but refer to that row. There we go. See, all these figures have changed. Oops, I didn't drag it all the way down. There we go. So yeah, so there's basically the whole sheet pretty much done for 1 month.